Welcome back to another jam-packed MMA episode of the Kick 'em in the Head podcast. And as always, I'm your host, Yao. And today we are talking UFC Fight Night Tsarukyan versus Hooker. This is the prediction show. Without further ado, let's go. To everyone listening, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe at Head Kick Pod on all platforms. Always here for predictions, letting you know which fighters to bet on, which underdogs to take, and how your fight night's gonna pan out. Now, this is a very exciting fight night. We've just come off UFC 322 with the most dominant win at welterweight for who I think right now should be considered one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT, Islam Makhachev. He absolutely dominated JDM in their fight for the welterweight title. And yeah, what next for him? He wants Kamaru Usman. We'll see if he gets it. If you don't know, you better listen and subscribe to Crossover MMA, Making the Walk. They have a show called Crossover MMA, and they're going to be talking about that exact topic tonight in about 45 minutes. But without further ado, let's get into the card for UFC Fight Night Tsarukyan versus Hooker. Now, here's the card that we're looking at. It's not a stack card like we had at UFC 322 this past weekend, but a couple of fights that I want to point out that I'm looking forward to. In the prelims, we have the brother of the current lightweight champion, Ilia Topuria. His brother, Alexander Topuria, is fighting in his second fight in the UFC. His first fight was a win. Let's see if he can get another win on this card. Not sure how it's going to go, but he's seeming to prove that he's a decent fighter. His first fight was fairly decent. It was a very good win from him. So let's see how he does now in his second fight in the UFC. The other fight I want to talk about is a fight between Nicholas Dalby and, geez, the surname is tricky. But it's Nicholas Dalby versus, let's see if I can get this one right, Izagakmaev. Izagakmaev versus Dalby. Why is that interesting? Because if Dalby, who is on a skid, loses this fight at 41, he probably retires. He's fighting an unranked fighter, someone who's never fought in the UFC before. So it's very interesting to see this either be his swan song to say, look, I went out on a win, or unfortunately, like some of the great fighters who love to fight, he goes out on a loss and, you all just kind of not really pay attention to it. But I'm looking forward to those two fights on the prelims. Where it comes to the main card, it is an exciting main card. But the fight that I'm really looking forward to is a fight between Bilal Muhammad, remember the name, former welterweight champion, versus who I think is one of the rising stars. He is a star. For me, I absolutely love Ian Gary. I'm a huge fan. He obviously had his issues with social media last year. Everyone calling him a cuck. He's had it out with Colby Covington, but Ian Gary's an absolute superstar, and he's a genius fighter. His fight IQ is absolutely off the charts. He called the straight left from Carlos Prates that knocked out Leon Edwards before it happened. I mean, if that's not fight IQ, that's not seeing it coming, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm looking forward to Bilal Muhammad coming back after losing the title to JDM to now stake his claim to say, look, I lost to JDM, which honestly he shouldn't have lost. I don't know how he didn't get any takedowns as a wrestler, but cool. Against Ian Gary, who is phenomenal. And I think, look, we'll get to the picks. But those are the fights that I'm really, really looking forward to on this card. And obviously Tsarukyan versus Hooker. But with that said, let us get into the card itself. Let us talk about the fights happening at UFC Tsarukyan versus Hooker. And I'm going to start off the bat with the main event, because we started from the top. We don't go from the bottom. The main event between Arman Tsarukyan and Dan the Hangman Hooker. This is a very interesting fight. We know Tsarukyan, the last time he was supposed to fight was against Islam Makhachev, and he pulled out. And since then, he struggled to get a fight. He's been having his issues with the promotion and with the fans for having missed that fight. But he is back against the Hangman Hooker. Tsarukyan on a winning streak, last beat Charlie Olives. Hangman on a 3-fight winning streak as well. Last beat Mateusz Gamrot. We've got the minus 440 favorite in the Armenian Arman Tsarukyan And the plus 310 underdog is Dan the Hangman Hooker, number 3 versus number 13. For me, this is a very exciting fight. I'm just gonna make my picks. I was gonna say you guys need to follow me on Tapology if you want to see my actual picks, because my picks are banging. Last week we got 11. I got 11 out of the 14 of the picks correct. So follow me, not Izzy, because he got 0 out of 5 for the main card last week. But let's just get into it. I'm gonna go with Arman Tsarukyan. I think he's just absolutely phenomenal. Dan is a great fighter, but Dan comes to kill. Dan's not there just to go round for round. We saw his war with Dustin Poirier, but I think Tsarukyan's going to manage to put him away via submission in the second round. I think just something about Tsarukyan right now is just saying that he's one of the best. If you look at his most recent loss, ironically, it was to Mateus Gamrot, who Dan the Hangman Hooker beat most recently. So, very interesting. That was a split decision, but I'm going to go Tsarukyan. If you're looking for a dog, if you're looking for a good dog on this card, upset fighter, Dan the Hangman Hooker, because you never count out the Hangman. He can throw hands, and if he catches you, and he will put your lights out. But I think Tsarukyan's clinch work, his grappling, his groundwork, his wrestling is what's going to keep him in this fight. And of course, he's got the striking. So I'm going for Arman Tsarukyan, Uncolettes, in this fight. The typology community overwhelmingly agrees with me by 89%. Did I get 95? 89% of the typology community also think that Arman Tsarukyan will win that fight. Then the co-main event, Bilal Muhammad, remember the name, versus Ian Machado Gary, the future. Whoo! Whoo! Exciting. This fight's really exciting for me. We've got Bilal Muhammad, as I said, coming off a loss most recently to Jack Della Maddalena in that title fight for the welterweight title. Other than that, he was on a hell of a streak. He's coming into this fight as the plus 150 underdog fighting out of Chicago, whereas we've got Ian Machado Gary. He's a favorite, a minus 190 favorite in this fight. His only loss to Shavkat Rakhmonov, which was an absolutely bruising fight. That fight went the distance, and he showed his pedigree because Shavkat finishes everyone. I think this was only the second fight Shavkat in his 18 or 19 fight streak has not finished. So let's see how much it was. In his 18 fight winning streak, this was the only fight where he has not finished someone. So Machado Gary managed to go through the full 3 rounds with Shavkat, took a loss, but came back with a win over Carlos Prates. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fight. Number 2 versus number 9. Bilal Muhammad's 37. Machado Gary's 28. Rising star. He's about to be a superstar. He's looking for the number 2 spot in the welterweight division to possibly very soon challenge the man we just saw, the man of the moment, the GOAT, Islam Makhachev. So let's see how he does in this fight, and if he actually manages to win so convincingly that Dana has no choice than to put him up maybe maybe in the next fight after this, whoever the champion is, look, it's going to be Islam. But I think he's going to be fighting for the title against Islam very soon, because I don't know who is going to beat Islam. He's going to beat whoever's in front of him, and Machado Gary is going to be next in line. So I'm looking forward to this fight to see if Bilal can bounce back, if he can weather the storm, maybe come out with a win, or if Gary can make this a very, very convincing win. If you're looking for an underdog, an upset pick, Bilal, I'm not too sure about it. I really think Gary's got this fight. And majority, 71% of the typology community agrees. They say Machado Gary for the win by decision. The rest of my picks you're going to have to see. So do follow us on Tapology at HeadKickPod. We're also on Instagram. And of course, here on YouTube, do subscribe to the channel. Your comments, your subscription is appreciated and really does help the channel. Next fight on the card, between Volkan Ozdemir and Alonzo Menifield in the light heavyweight division. Now, we've got No Time Ozdemir versus Atomic Alonzo Menifield, number 10 versus number 19. Menifield trying to get a top 10 position in the light heavyweight division, which hasn't been that exciting recently. We do know right now the welterweight and lightweight are the most exciting divisions, but let's see what these two can do up here in the light heavyweight division. Ozdemir coming off a loss versus Carlos Ulberg, who's on an absolute tear. Ulberg is looking like he's coming for the title. He wants that light heavyweight title. And we have Meningfield, who's on a two-fight winning streak, recently beating Omar Sy and Sy, Julius Walker, previously having lost to Azmat Murzakhanov and Carlos Ulberg, the man who just beat Volkan Ozdemir. Ozdemir coming in as a minus 250 favorite. Meningfield coming in as a plus 190 underdog. 38 versus 36, the old man being Meningfield. Interesting fight. I think I'm going to go with the odds here. I like Volkan for this fight. Between the reach advantage, the height advantage, I think it's good. It's going to be a bit difficult for Meningfield, who we know is very good with striking, to catch Ozdemir. I think he's going to be stepping in and out of the pocket, connecting. Meningfield's going to try the same, but he's going to be forced into the clinch. I think it's going to go to decision and go the way of Volkan Ozdemir. Although decisions in light heavyweight doesn't happen very often. If I look at the performance against Omar Sy, decisions, I really do like Volkan Ozdemir for this fight by decision, not by a knockout. And the Tapology community overwhelmingly agrees. 88% of the Tapology community says Volkan Ozdemir will win this fight. The next fight is in the welterweight division, the exciting division, Islam Makhachev division, between one of the journeyman legends, someone that you know if you've been watching UFC for a while, Jack Hermansson taking on a young up-and-coming Maitabek Orbalai. This is an interesting fight because the Joker, at the tail end of his career at 37 versus Orbalai at 27, there's a 10-year age difference there, fighting out of Kyrgyzstan as Orbalai. Very, very good fighter. I like this fight. I'm excited to see this fight. I'm not sure why Orbalai is completely unranked in the UFC, which is kind of weird. But Hermansson is ranked middleweight, 31, which means Hermansson is coming down from light heavyweight to middleweight. He's going down from middleweight to welterweight. So he's fighting a weight class down. He's coming in at plus 165 underdog, fighting out of Sweden, and we've got Orbalai as a minus 215 favorite, fighting out of Kyrgyzstan. I agree with these odds. Minus 215. Orbalai is an absolute dog. Even when he lost his eye in the fight against Mateusz Rebecki, you can still see the dog in him. And then he came back with a win against Sofik Musayev. We've got Hermansson, who's a win-loss fighter, which means he could win this fight. I think I see him as a very, very good upset dog on this card if you're looking for a dog. Jack Hermansson is a good one. I'm not sure how he'd get it done over Orbalai. He's been around for a while, the Joker. So I'm going with the favorite in this fight, Maitabek Orbalai. I think Jack Hermansson is just not going to be able to weather the storm of the younger, hungrier fighter. Although Hermansson is the taller fighter by 3 inches and with the reach advantage, we know that Orbalai fights in close. He fights in the clinch. He takes you down. I think that's what's going to win the fight for him is his close range game. I don't think Hermansson is going to be able to keep him at range, which is how he would win this fight. So I've got Maitabek Orbalai in this fight. The apology community agrees. They've got Orbalai at 79% confidence that he will win this fight. Next fight on the card, we have Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Gaziev. Whew. Interesting, always fun. We've got Blobby Gaziev work recently. Looking at the tail of the tape, we've got number 9 versus number 12. Gaziev has his only loss at the age of 35 against Jairzinho Rosenstrike, who's since left the promotion. And we've got Spivak, who's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's coming in as a plus 140 underdog with Gaziev at a minus 115 favorite, fighting out of Bahrain. Ironically, with a 17-6 record, Spivak is the younger fighter by 5 years. I didn't know that. That's crazy. And we've got Gaziev coming in at the age of 35, being the taller fighter by 1 inch, and the reach is dead even. This is a very tricky one because Spivak is a good fighter, but there's just those times where he gets caught, and when he gets caught, he goes down. The power coming from Gaziev is uncompromisable. He seems to get his punches through. He knows how to take the fight in the clinch. He knows how to work himself on the ground. His wrestling is decent. This is a tricky one, but I'm going to go with Gaziev in this fight. I think he gets it done by KO in round one. You know how these big guys hit. Heavyweights don't play. I'm going to go with Shamil Gaziev, and the typology community is the same, but with a 74% confidence. So far, the lowest confidence rate on the night, Shamil Gaziev in the heavyweight division. Then we've got Alex Perez versus Asu Amabayev. Last time I saw Asu, he was fighting against Manel Kape, and he danced around the entire octagon for the entire fight, losing that fight to Manel Kape. So good to see him back now fighting against Alex Perez. Alex Perez, not the best record. I mean, he's won one in his last five, but he's coming in as a plus 160 underdog. I would have thought that gap would have been bigger with Almabayev coming in as a minus 210 favorite. As you can see there, his last loss was to Manel Kape in that fight where he was just running all over the show. But decent record, 22-3, ranked number 12 with Perez ranked number 10 in the flyweight division. Perez being a slightly taller fighter, Almabayev being a slightly shorter fighter. I'm going to go with the favorite. I've gone with the favorite in every single fight. I just don't see any stark underdogs except for Dan the Hangman Hooker on this card. Not even Bilal Muhammad. I don't see him as a good underdog on this card. So I'm going to go with Asu Amabayev fighting out Kazakhstan. I think he gets it done all 3 rounds. It's the flyweight division. I don't see a submission threat coming from him in this fight. So I'm going to go with Asu Amabayev. Woo! 90%, the highest confidence so far tonight from the typology community for Amabayev to win this fight. The next fight is between Luke Riley and Bogdan Grad in the featherweight division, 145 pounds, 3-round fight between Luke Riley and the unleashed Bogdan Grad. Luke Riley, one of many debutants on this card, which is very interesting. UFC is trying to bring in these debutants, give them a chance, and here is one fighter they're giving a chance in Luke Riley. He is coming in as a minus 260 favorite as a debutant. Ooh, very interesting. Versus the plus 200 underdog in Bogdan Grad. Bogdan Grad, his last loss was to Muhammad Naimov. He's had 2-3 fights in the UFC, including Contender Series, and this is the debut for Cage Warriors champion in Luke Riley. This is a tricky one, but I'm going with all the favorites tonight. I'm going to go with Luke Riley. Bogdan, great fighter, but Riley is absolutely electric. I've seen him fighting out in Cage Warriors. He's a fantastic fighter. He's good with his striking. He's got amazing striking. His takedown defense is very good as well. And so I see him winning this fight, most likely by decision, it's featherweight, or possibly a knockout second round. If you want to see my picks, don't forget to follow us on Tapology. Follow me on Tapology at HeadKickPod to see all the picks for this card. But I'm going to go with Luke Riley. I think he gets it done in maybe the second round, probably a knockout or submission. Not likely to go to the third, but let's see what happens. We've got him coming in as a minus 265 favorite and Grad coming in as a plus 200 underdog. Typology community has confidence of 78% that Riley will get it done. Not the highest, but I think I agree with that, 78%, because Grad does have a chance of possibly winning. Not the best underdog, but possibly winning. The next fight is between Abdulrahman Yakayev versus Rafael Cerqueira. Okay, it's the hunter versus the lion in the light heavyweight division of the UFC. Another one of the debutants coming in is Yakayev Cerqueira. Cerqueira is a plus 560 underdog. He is 3 fights on the trot with a loss. He has lost to Ibo Aslan, Modestas Bukauskas, shout out Big Modi, and Julius Walker most recently 3 months ago. We've got the unranked debutant Yakayev coming in at a minus 1,000 favorite. Wow. I don't know what the UFC is doing with these debutants now, because minus 1,000 favorite as a debutant in the UFC. Okay. let's get it. Let's go. He won his fight on the Contender Series most recently against Alec Lorenz, and I think he's gonna. I haven't really liked the old fighters recently, mostly this year, but the past 3 months, the old fighters seem to be keeping their O's. Their O's are not going. Beginning of the year, they were all dropping their O's. Everyone was just losing their O. I'm gonna go with the debutantes. I'm gonna go with the minus 1,000 favorite. Usually, these are very risky because the more experienced fighter, and I mean, Gutierrez lost all three of his fights in the UFC, but against top ranked competition. So it's very tricky. And it's light heavyweight. You can get knocked out very easily. I'm going to go with the minus 1,000 favorite in Yakayev. I think he gets it done. I think as much as he's a debutant, Aries, he seems to have a lot of skill. His striking is phenomenal. He got a knockout in his Contender Series fight. So I've got Abdurrahman Yakayev in this fight, and he's got the highest confidence so far of any of the fights on this card. 97% confidence from the Tapology community in Yakayev winning this fight. So don't take Tsarukyan as an underdog. I don't think that's going to go well for you if you do. Then in the next fight, we have Kyoji Horiguchi versus Tagir Ulambekov. This is in the flyweight division. Horiguchi fighting out of Japan and Ulambekov fighting out of Russia. 34-5 is the record for Horiguchi, and 17-2 is the record for Ulambekov. His most recent loss was to Tim Elliott. Horiguchi has been on at least a 5-fight decent winning streak. He's got 4 wins in 5 with 1 draw. He's coming in as a plus 145 underdog, and Ulambekov is a minus 190 favorite in this fight. This is a very interesting fight to pick. For me, if I look at how Horiguchi fights and his submission threat, he most recently fought out in Ryzen. He's one of the debutants here in the UFC on this card, one of, I think, 6 debutants. But if you know anything about Nkazimulo Zulu, the former double champion in the EFC, he's an absolute monster. That guy is a dog of note. And for Horiguchi to beat him, and that's why I know Kyoji Horiguchi, because I watched that fight between him and Nkazimulo Zulu. I think he's a very, very, very skilled fighter. Ulambekov is a lot more experienced, but I think I like Horiguchi as a dog in his debut against Tagir Ulambekov. So let's see how that fight goes. Horiguchi's got 34 wins, 5 losses. That's 39 fights. This guy's 35 years old, 39 fights. I think that experience is going to come through in his debut, fighting the number 14 ranked fighter in Ulambekov. But let's see how that fight goes. And it's split down the middle. So if you are looking for a dog, like I said, Horiguchi is the dog. They spelled his name 2 different ways. There's a Y here. Oh no, it's Kyoji. My bad. Horiguchi is an absolute dog in the Tapology community. 100% agrees with me. They've got him at a 53% likelihood to win as the underdog in terms of the odds. And I'm 100% with them. I've got Horiguchi in this fight. Like I said, see them fighting against Nkazimulo Zulu, King Shaka. I've got him in that fight. The next fight is one of the fights I'm looking forward to between Bekzat Almakhan and Alexander Topuria in the bantamweight division. 135 pounds fight between the Turan Warrior and El Conquistador. We've got Almakhan on minus 115 and Topuria minus 115. So it's a pick 'em, people. There is no underdog in this fight. Whoever you pick, you're going to make some money because they're both minus odds, which is great. Like I said at the top of the show, Topuria, great performance in his first fight. He won by decision against Colby Thickness. We've got Almakhan, who's had 2 fights in the UFC. He lost to Umar Nurmagomedov, who was undefeated, and then he beat Brad Katona, who's a Tough House alumni. Fighting out of Kazakhstan, and Topuria fighting out of Spain. Same age, 28, 29. Reach and height are dead even. So this is a very, very interesting fight if you're picking. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with who the fan favorite would be in this instance, which would be Ilya Toporia's brother. So he's either going to be hated by the fans or loved by the fans, depending on how you feel about Ilya Topuria. I'm going to go with him simply because I know who he trains with, how he trains, and I think that's what's going to get him over the line in this fight. His only loss was to Ivo Ivanov, who was an 0-0 fighter 10 years ago. Jeez, 10 years ago. Bro, what you been doing for the last 10 years? Okay, you took like what, 7 years off? Okay, and came back winning. Of course, when your brother got in and started to do amazing things. So let's see how he gets on in this fight after taking 7 years off and only coming back 3 years ago with 4 fights. But I've got Alexander Topuria, and the Typology community agrees. They've got him at a 63% confidence to win this fight against Almakan. But for me, especially with that level of confidence, 63%, Almakan is a very good dog to pick. If you're looking for a dog on this card, another one, you can definitely take the two-round warrior, Begzat Almakan, and he could get you some money there. Then the next fight we've got is between Ryan Loder and Ismail Nordiev. To everyone listening, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on all platforms at Head Kick Pod. You can find all the picks. I'm not making them here tonight, but you can find all my picks on our Typology at Head Kick Pod. Please do follow us on Typology. Do subscribe on YouTube. Comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know who you think is going to win in the main event, in the co-main. We'd love to hear from you. And please do subscribe. It does help the channel. So the next fight between Ryan Loder, the Man of Steel, and Ismail Nordiev in the middleweight division. Let's see how these two fighters stack up. Number 59 versus number 42. Let's see. Plus 145. Underdog is Loder. Minus 185 is the favorite Nordiev, fighting out of Morocco. Taller man with the 2-inch reach is Ryan Loder at 6'2", and Nordiev is 6 foot with a 2-inch differential, as I said, in the reach. He recently lost. Nordiev recently lost to the Iron Turtle. Never saw that coming when he lost to Jison Park. That was interesting, almost a robbery. And we have Loder having lost to Azmat Bekoev most recently as well. Nordiev is a great fighter. This is not a fight that I would pick any underdog to win here. I would go with the favorite in Ismail Nordiev. He's a very, very rangy fighter. He knows how to get in and out of the pocket. He's got good takedown defense as well. And I think, I'm going to support my African brother in this one. Morocco, let's go. So I'm going to go with Ismail Nordiev in this fight. I think he gets it done over the distance. I don't think he finishes this fight. I think, he's got 2 fights in the UFC, 1 win, 1 loss. Loder's got 2 fights in the UFC, 1 win, 1 loss. But beating Robert Valentin is not exactly, something I would brag about. Valentin's not the best. So I'm going to go with Ismail Nordiev in this fight to win. And the Typology community has him at a 58% confidence to win his fight. So, look, if you're going with the Typology community to pick a dog, you can definitely go with Ryan Loder. Odds aren't the best. I mean, plus 145. You're not going to get much out of that, but you can go with Ryan Loder if you're looking for a dog. I'm going to go with Ismail Nordiev. The next fight, another debutant, another pair of debutants in Nurlo Aliyev and Shakim Rock. The Tajik Eagle versus Shem. 10-0 for the Tajik Eagle, coming in at a minus 340 favorite. One of the undefeated fighters, one of the debutants on this. Oh, my bad. It's not debutant. He's actually experienced. He's got 2 fights in UFC. Beating Rafael Alves and Joe Selecki. And he's fighting the debutant, who is Shakim Rock, who's coming in as a plus 250 underdog. Look, I like the Tajik Eagle for this. The guys fighting off Tajikistan are fantastic. Their wrestling is amazing. I did see his fight against Sulecki. I haven't seen his fight against Alves, but he is very, very good on the ground. Takedowns are great. He's got good jits, so I'm going to go with Nurlo Aliyev in this fight. He is the minus 340 favorite. Shakim Rock, debutant fighting out Dublin Ireland. I don't see how he gets it done, and the Typology community also agrees. They've got him an 87% confidence to win. That is Nurlo Aliyev. So I'm going with Aliyev in this fight. Then the other fight that I was looking forward to is Saigid Izagamev, Izakamayev versus Nicholas Dalby. Like I said, Nicholas Dalby loses this fight. He's likely going to retire. He is now 41, literally at the tail end of his career, coming into this fight as a plus 280 underdog with Isaac Kamayev coming in as a minus 390 favorite. So I'm going to go with the favorite fighting out of Russia. The younger man, 31 years old, taller man at 6'1". And I mean, if you saw how Nicholas Dalby got face planted in his KO against Randy Brown, I think it's time. So I'm definitely gonna go with Isaac Makayev. As much as it's a debut for Saigid, he's fighting out of one championship, and we know the pedigree there. He's also fought out in Eagle FC. That means he's fighting Khabib's promotion, and you know the Dagestani wrestling is going to come out strong. I see him submitting Dalby in the first round. So I've got Saigid Izakamayev in this fight, and the Typology community agrees with 81% confidence that he will win this fight. And the last fight of the night, we've got Marek Buyo versus Denzel Freeman. Another debutant in the UFC, 6-0 versus 6-1. Budgezilla versus Luke Fox. Luke Fox, that's a fun moniker. Buyo fighting out of Poland, Freeman fighting out of Colorado Springs in the US. The taller man at 6'4" is Buyo. He also has about an inch reach on Freeman. In this fight in the heavyweight division, so expect knockouts. Debutant in Budgezilla and Freeman, they're both debutants squaring up against each other to see who's going to actually enter the UFC with a win. Let's see. Only loss was a split decision for Freeman. And where you been fighting? Bulyo's been fighting out in Poland, BFN. Very active fighters. Okay. There's no odds on this fight. I'm going to go with the poll. I'm going to go with Marek Bulyo. I think, honestly, I like the name. He sounds dangerous. He's finished all of his fights by some sort of submission or something, whereas the one loss that Freeman has was by decision. So I think Bulyo is going to get it. I'm just going to go with their records, seeing exactly how they fought. Taller man is going to be able to keep it range. When he probably brings it in, that's when he's going to get some sort of submission. I mean, he's got 2 submissions and 3 TKOs in his last 5. So 5, he's finished 5 at least of his last 6. And the Typology community agrees with a 71% confidence, but that Bulyo will get it done. And that is the card for UFC Tsarukyan versus Hooker. Oh, it's going to be a good fight. I'm really looking forward to this fight night. To everyone watching, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on all platforms at Head Kick Pod. Please do comment, drop your comments. Let me know which fights you're excited about. Let's have a chat in the comments. And until next time, as always, don't forget to kick him in there.